One, two, one, two. What's up? What's up? This is Ibn Quran is Some here. Welcome y'all to another episode of Official Thanks. Actually, it's going to be one of my Essex County all day segments here. Got a legend coming up as far as when we talk about Essex County, who got busy, while on the court as an athlete and also as a coach as well, well established. I'm very honored. Hit him up last week. He said, I got no problem jumping on, what have you. So just looking forward to this episode here, just to get some jewels, just hear some things, that he's been through. Educator, retired now. Let me just give you the name. Coach Greg Tynes, Orange high school baller, Clifford Scott coach. I believe he was over at West Orange, and I want to say West Side as well. But either way, he's just an Essex County legend. Spent some time in the pros playing ball out there as well, but came back, laid it down here. I remember just playing ball in the summer leagues, while I'm seeing him and his team just being all smooth and cool, just walking around the courts. Like, I had to look like, yeah, I know he got busy. Just hearing the stories from, all the old heads, the OGs and triple OGs. Let me throw the double OGs in there too, just hearing stories about him. I was like, yeah, he got busy. You could just tell, just as the athlete, you just see some people like just that persona, that aura about them, that they just got busy. So looking forward to having them on. And we're just going to go from there. So just sit back, I'm just going to do my 1-2, shoot the breeze with them for a minute here. Essex County all day. That's what it is.
Can you hear me?
Yes. How are you? Just Ibn here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking time out here. I didn't think I'd be able to catch you.
Wait a minute. I lost the picture.
Okay. You on your phone or computer, laptop?
Computer.
All right. Do you have the toolbar at the bottom? Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you.
Okay. Toolbar at the bottom. Let me see. Oh, audio.
Yeah, the audio camera.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. How you been, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing well, and I got a broken foot right now. So, but other than that, I'm okay.
What, you've been trying to play ball in the snow here or something?
Nah. I slipped in my own driveway before the snow came.
Oh.
One night it was raining and it was black ice, and I slipped and fell and had a surgery on a Christmas Eve.
Okay. You holding up though, like you're just okay.
It's new. I ain't never been hurt before, so it's
about to say, a player like you, I don't think you've ever known what being hurt is.
Never.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, just kind of give you a quick rundown. This was something I had in the works for a while. I was, this is like something I can do here, because I think just for me, just to kind of say thanks to a lot of people here. First, initially, obviously, I did it like with family members or what have you there, just a kind of a podcast situation, just reaching out to my family and just letting them know just, how much, they meant to me again, like my everyday heroes. They don't got to be on TV. They're going to be on the movie screen or anything like that. These are my day in and day out heroes. So it started off with that. But however, in the back of my mind, I always had something in mind as far as just being born in Orange, pretty much been around Essex County, playing sports, everything else. It's my heart. Though I'm in Connecticut now, mom, everybody, they still right down there, Orange, East Orange, you name it here. So my thing was just kind of like, let me just do something. I would love to just talk to those who just been in the trenches, just playing sports, coaching, what have you in Essex County, because it's my heart. It's my heart. Okay. And I think it was just one of those things here where, ironically, somebody, I had a few people on already. I just started this probably, a couple of weeks ago. So I've had some people on already, more from my era, that late 80s, early 90s. Here's a name for you. Actually, he mentioned you when we was talking. Cleon Hill, Cleo and Big Cleo, may his father rest in peace. But yeah, had him on recently as well too. So I had a few people on. A name, Jason Curry. I don't know if that rings a bell, from Montclair High. But also too, and I've reached out just to a couple other folks just waiting to get back. So just having a conversation about Essex County, and like I said, I saw someone sent me over a link of the Facebook page now with the whole Essex County alum basketball thing, which is great. Like, I'm about to get in trouble. I'm supposed to be doing other stuff, and I'm looking, at everybody just kind of reliving their time and just having conversations here. So my wife about to like shut me down because I'm sitting here looking at stuff here. She just don't understand. She's from up here in Connecticut, so she knows I get a little crazy when I talk about Jersey and particularly where I'm from. So that's what this is. And I actually, you were on my list, ironically, before even seeing that. But I was like, let me roll the dice and see if he'll be willing to just, just shoot the breeze for a few minutes here of his time here. So thank you again for taking just, some time out of your evening here to be with me. I'm really grateful.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. So just to kind of fire away here, what does growing up in Essex County mean to you?
Oh, it means everything, but I guess I'm a little selfish. I like to say just growing up in Orange, that meant a lot to me. Just being in Orange and growing up in the projects on Wilson Place, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I used to tell kids that I grew up rich. They say, "You grew up rich?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I had a basketball court in my backyard. Later on, we built a pool.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in the penthouse on the the top floor. I had a penthouse apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I could walk a block away and be in a big park, which was Orange Park.
Orange Park. Right.
At that time, when I was a kid, you couldn't tell me I wasn't rich. I had everything.
Mm-hmm.
I could play baseball, football, basketball without even crossing the street. Go swimming without even crossing the street. All this was in my backyard."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Yeah, where'd you live at?" I said, "Orange in the projects." I said, "It's a state of mind. It is what you think it is." And I believed I was rich. You couldn't tell me anything better than that. That I was rich. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm totally familiar, obviously, with Wilson Place, and then you go down the street. You got Mechanic Street. That was right down there. So, what are you the only sibling? This is just me being a little nosy here.
No, actually, I'm the youngest. I have an older sister. She's retired. She's a nurse. And the oldest is I have a brother. He's deceased now.
Okay.
But so I had a brother, sister, and myself. I was the youngest. And my brother's 16 years older than me. My sister is 11 years older than me. So I somewhat was like an only child.
Okay.
Because they was both, when I was born, my sister was 11. My brother was 16. So I wasn't playing with them,
Mm-hmm.
So, I grew up as the youngest. Like I said, I was close to being an only child.
Yeah. Now I know. I don't know if the school systems changed back then. I'm assuming you went to Oakwood, then Orange Middle, then the high school. Is that accurate, or did you go to a different elementary school?
Yeah, I went to Oakwood till second grade. Then I went to Lincoln Avenue, third to sixth. Then I went to Central. At that time, Orange Middle was the high school.
Got you. Okay.
So I went to Central. There was two junior highs, 7th and 8th grade, Central and Tremont on the other side of town. And then I went to the old Orange High School for 3 years. And then my senior year, that's when the new high school was opened up. And we always said that they built that new high school for us because they knew we was going to be the #1 team in the state that year. So we were the first class in there. We were the senior class that was in that high school.
Nah, stuff I even know, like I said, being from Orange, even this little bit of information, I didn't even know there was 2 middle schools as far as Central and Tremont. So
yeah,
I'm learning
probably when you came up, Tremont, they turned Tremont into the police station. Right. And then Central was where the Board of Education is, right there on Main Street. Right behind that was Central. It's called Rosa Parks now.
Okay.
That was the junior high school I went to.
Because it was an elementary school when I was growing up. Then it turned into your point as far as to what it became now, as far as changing over to Rosa Parks. Yeah. Now, as far as just getting into sports here, as far as so it sounded like you played a bunch of sports here, but basketball, you just grew and was drawn to basketball more, or was something else your first love?
Well, I played football first. I was a receiver, and I think baseball was my best sport. But coming into high school, I had got hooked up in a fence and couldn't try out for the freshman football team because I had stitches, and that was pretty much a blessing. In terms of baseball, they had seen me. The coach had seen me in Little League, and I was on a varsity as a freshman and never went to a tryout. But Orange didn't have a good baseball team, and I didn't like losing, so I played basketball and I excelled in that. I mean, that probably was my second best sport. Baseball was probably the best, but in Orange, you got to play basketball. You know, that's just the sport. You just got to play basketball, then football. So, you know, I never went back out for football after my freshman year, after I was hurt and couldn't play. And I just stuck with basketball. Each year, the baseball coach came to me and said, you know, you're going to play this year? I said, no. I kept looking at the record, said, I don't know if I can handle it 7 games a year, you know?
Yeah. Now, interesting with baseball, I mean, a lot of people don't even know about Orange. Monty Irvin from the Negro Leagues is from Orange.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Some people don't even know that as far as, so there's some baseball history tied into Orange there.
Yeah, the Irvins are the same as the Frazier, that Frazier family. They lived on the 4th floor. I lived on the 7th floor. They lived right underneath me. Yeah, so we all knew about Monty Irving.
That's right. And some people don't even know about that. So so we get to basketball. So what leagues or little leagues did you play growing up as far as basketball and the other sports here? What was in town there?
Oh, it was the Friendship House. I mean, the projects was right next to the Friendship House. I'm a Friendship House guy. So I played at the Friendship House, and that was my main area. But I had a bike. I rode all over. Once I got past the 10th grade, I used to ride all the parks. I used to go to Bloomfield, play against the Chapucas. I used to go to Newark, and I never really thought about being like a really good high school player. I just wanted to be the best in your park during the summer. I wanted to leave your park and have people talking about me. So I rode my bike all over. I went to Newark. I mean, I was by myself. A lot of people from Orange, they wouldn't go with me. I would go to Montclair, Nishuane, Glenfield, Bloomfield, Westside Park. I just ride around and just like, I'm going to play. And it took me a while to get on that court in Elmwood, though. Elmwood was a tough one to crack. I think I went down there one time during the summer after my sophomore year, and I sat down there and couldn't get any run. And I was mad. And I went down there at the end of the summer, got a little run. By the time my junior year, they would see me coming down the street and they would put me on the team.
Oh, that's all right.
It was tough to crack Elmwood Park, though.
Now I'm gonna get back to Elmwood. I actually wanted to ask you something about that. I'm definitely gonna get back to Elmwood Park here. Now, as far as just playing sports in Essex County, what did that mean to you?
Oh, during my era, it was just so many players. You know, Newark had some. It was, and maybe I'm being biased, but it was just so many guards. Everybody, like all of the high school teams had good guards, especially in Newark. And so, you know, just going around, just riding my bike, playing against them in the summer, because I think everybody's a lot better in the summer when there's no rules than they are during the high school season. Like some people can't really play that way. You know, I think you have to be able to play in high school and you have to be able to play in the park. To be a really good player. Some people only could do one or the other. And so, you know, so you see a lot of guys who maybe you didn't see on a high school circuit, but you saw in the summer leagues who could play.
That's right.
So just going around to different places in Essex County, just seeing all of the talent, you know, just trying to rise above all the people that was there. That, you know, that was just a challenge in itself.
No, absolutely. Now, you during your time too, was that when Weequahic was a power? Was that when there was a powerhouse?
I think Weequahic might have been number 1 in the state my sophomore year.
Okay.
But they had Lou Grimsley and them. I think, you know, my sophomore year they were a power, but even my senior year, they were really good. My senior year, we were number 1 in the state. East Orange was 2, but Weequahic was good with Davey Evelyn and Lorenzo Daniels. We met them in the semifinals of the county tournament. Shabazz was good. I mean, it just was a lot of good teams. I mean, even It was a Big Ten conference. Even the teams like Columbia, Belleville had what's his name? Abdel Anderson that went to Rutgers. I mean, those teams. Nutley had a guy named Barry Finley who was actually from Shabazz in Newark. I mean, the teams that you don't know to be good, they were all good. I mean, everybody has some players.
Now, even back there, as far as you guys, you ended up #1 your senior year. Did you guys? Okay.
Yeah, we were 29-1. We were 20. We lost our 24th game. We lost in the county championship to East Orange, and we had beaten them twice. And the third time, they just, they ended up upsetting us by 5, and we both went on to win the state. We ended up 1. They ended up 2. They had they actually had 2 losses that year. They had 2 losses to us, and we had 1 loss to them.
Yeah, but I'm sure those guys still hold that county chip over you too, no matter what.
That's all they talk about. They talk about, you have the guys, they just talk about how, we beat y'all, we beat y'all, and and they get into who did what. I mean, honestly, and I never talk about officials, and I had a great game. I won't even forget the game. I had 28, and they didn't have threes back then. But I hit like a 30-foot jump shot, and they said it was a foul. They called a foul on our center underneath.
Ooh.
And they took the basket. It was still only 2 points because they didn't have a 3-point line. But that was with like under a minute to go. And then we had the foul. So that's how they ended up beating us by 5. But if that would have counted, we'd have been tied. So, I mean, it was a terrible call. I don't know how somebody shoots a 30-foot jump shot and you call a foul underneath.
Yeah.
Somebody going for it's not even a rebound because it went in. So I never could understand that, but they were good. So it's not like I never, I said upset a few minutes ago, but they had their point guard, Kenny Young, went to Duke. The other guard, Reggie Baker, went to Bucknell. Then they had Mike Booker, who he was a junior, but he ended up at Upsala, but he went to Illinois. Cleveland Eugene, who was one of the best players in junior college. So they had a good team. It wasn't like it was a bunch of guys who couldn't play who beat them.
No, absolutely.
They were good.
Now, back there, where did they play the county finals at back then?
Seton Hall. At
They
Seton
played
Hall
at Seton
University.
Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was like, must see. And I'm sure crowds outside can even get in because, it ain't the biggest gym, if I recall. That was Walsh Gym, I believe. I think.
Yeah, it holds like 3,200. And we couldn't get in when you pulled up. People all over. But I mean, because, they didn't have these big venues, like every one of our high school games was sold out.
Yeah.
So we were used to a crowd, but we couldn't get in the game. We had to wait on a bus for like 45 minutes for them to find a door that we could go into.
Hey, he was a superstar before superstars is even talked about here. Now, I know I'll be doing a disservice, as far as your accolades, even post-high school too, going as far as from college and just, I'm sure just walking on the college campus, you brought that orange was in you no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the reasons I went to Seton Hall, besides I had a person who was my advisor, a guy by the name of Mr. Leroy Jones. He's deceased now, but he was my advisor. He told me to go there. But one of the reasons that, I listened to everything he said, but I'd never had a bad game there. I just thought the baskets was so big. I said, you can't miss in this place. So I ended up going there. And when I went there, I was in for a little rude awakening. I remember our first time we lost my freshman year, I was upset in the locker room. And one of the guys who, his name is John Rams, he ended up being drafted by the Knicks, but he was a senior. And he said to me, he said, Tynes, you're not at Orange no more. You're going to get used to losing. I said, I'll never get used to losing.
That's right.
I said, I'm going to make y'all get used to winning. So, and I used to go at it with the seniors because they was just comfortable with having played a game, lose by 10, and talk about what they're getting ready to do, after the game.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to that. I think I maybe lost 7 games in 4 years of high school. So I wasn't used to just losing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Now, my apologies for not knowing this, which I should know. Was Bill Raftery your coach, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Bill Raftery was my coach.
No, I remember meeting him a few times. And I was playing AAU where Mel Knight was our coach. He actually took us to when we was out in Vegas for nationals one year. I know Mr. Raftery was out there. Yeah, so I got a chance to meet him. And I know Coach Knight is also a Seton Hall guy there too. So
yeah, he was assistant coach and associative athletic director too.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So we worked. He worked with me a lot because he was assistant coach.
Mm-hmm. Now, from Seton Hall, you do well there. Now, is your NBA trials with the Celtics?
Yeah, I got drafted by the Celtics.
Now, how long did you stay with them?
Just to the end of camp. When they drafted me, I was real happy. And one day I was training this summer, getting ready to go to camp, and they made a trade and got Nate Archibald. And that gave them 7 veteran guards under contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew then that I wasn't going to make the team. No guard was going to make the team because you'd have to cut a veteran and pay him, and to keep one of us, you know. So it was tough, but it was a great experience. I got to work out. I worked out with Nate going into my senior year of college, and even after that. So I got to know him. Even in camp, he was telling me some things because it was a little disappointing. At one point, I guess one day I wasn't playing that hard. He asked me what was wrong. I said, well, nobody's gonna make the team. You veterans are here. He said, just play. So I just went at it with him. Me and him just went head to head.
Okay.
So he said, now you playing, because he had taught me a lot of stuff. So Nate's a good guy.
And it's not bad. He's right next door, being a New Yorker, so that's not bad. Absolutely. Now, from the Celtics experience, what did you do next?
They had the latest camp, so right after that, it was I couldn't get into an NBA camp, so I was supposed to go overseas to go to Spain. Boston wanted me to go to Maine to play in their what's equivalent to the Eastern League, semi-pro.
Okay.
Boston wanted me to go to Maine, and my agent was the same agent as Bob McAdoo, and his partner dealt with overseas guys. So his name was Rich Kaner. So that's who I had with me. Rich Kaner wanted me to go to Spain to play, and I thought about it. I said, one, I'm not going to Maine. And about a week before I was supposed to go to Spain, I just said I'm not going, because one of the things I liked about Seton Hall was that I got a whole bunch of tickets, and I could bring half the projects there. I love playing before my friends and family. So I just decided not to go to Spain. And I said, I'm not really worried about anything. Something's going to happen. Then the following year, I got the job coaching at Clifford Scott. That year in between, after the Celtics camp, I got hired at Columbia High School as a varsity assistant, which was the only time I was an assistant. Like they paid me, the Booster Club paid me. They had already had their coaches. They just wanted me because, Columbia's in South Orange. I was just left Seton Hall.
Right, namesake, all that.
Yeah, so they had paid me to be an assistant. And then the next year, the Clifford Scott job opened up.
Now, how does an Orange native go to Scott?
Well, that wasn't personal. That was just business.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, so it opened up. Orange was set. Mr. Blake was still coaching at Orange,
right?
And I went to Clifford Scott, and my whole thing was that I had never been a head coach before, and so but I was fortunate enough to have Bill Raftery come into my games, and Uppsala right around the corner, the Knicks used to practice. Okay. And Raftery was friends with Hubie Brown. So Hubie Brown came and Mike Vitella came, and then Rolly Massimino, who was at Villanova, they came, and we used to go out to eat. And I used to ask them, to critique me. And they used to just tell me, I just wanted to know, am I utilizing my timeouts right? I really wasn't worried about the other stuff. I kind of thought I knew X's and O's, but they would helped me with that. But I was just, I was really concerned with when do you break a team's momentum? When do you call that timeout? Or when do you not call it because you only got one left,
Right.
So they really, watched me at games and just sat down with me and talked to me about that. And I appreciate that so much.
But I think even on top of the jewels you got from those guys, just your players, just knowing not only who you are, but who you associate with, and who might be sitting in the stands, whether it's games or even just at practice, just to kind of just give them that extra little oomph, so to speak, here, just to play well or just want to just do their best. So I'm sure that kind of like pay dividend to them as far as like, wow, and make them want to just, play to the highest level that they could possibly play to. So I'm sure that helped those kids out a whole lot. And to your point, you mentioned Clifford Scott, just even being in that neighborhood and those kids basketball, to a lot of them, that's all they had, in regards to, if those grades is up, they was going to be up during that basketball season,
right.
So I think that had a lot to do with as far as just, what you've done and kind of what you've shown them, even from early on, it sounds like having those guys around.
Yeah, I think it helped that, with Raftery coming in also that I played, because they could see that 2 years prior to that, I was in the paper a lot for being a senior at Seton Hall. So, and I think it helped that that I could play, but playing doesn't necessarily mean you could coach.
That's
at
right.
least they knew I could play, and I could, what I was showing them, I didn't learn from a book. It was that I experienced it on the court. Yeah. So, and I think that helped a lot because they somewhat wanted to listen, because some of them wanted to get to an area where that they wish they could try out or just play against some of the people that I played against.
Absolutely.
So I think that helped out that they could relate to me playing.
So how was those first, let's say, couple of years at Scott for you? How were they?
Well, my first year we were 13-11, but I think we had the best point guard in the county. He led the county in scoring, Ron Young.
Okay.
Murph, and that was when Jerry McMillan was at Barringer. Jerry McMillan was the second highest scorer in the county, but the best player in the county. He was definitely the best guard in the county. But we had Ron Young, so I think anytime you got a good point guard, you'll do okay. You got a good leader. So my first year we had Ron Young, but then the second year was when Mike Brown transferred in and Troy Webster, and Andre Adams. So my second year we went 24-3 and won the state championship. Then my third year we went 24-3 and won back-to-back state championships. So that kind of put me on the map as a coach. But for me, the second state championship, the third year was the best because we had Troy, but we lost everybody else. We lost the other four guys. So we only had Troy coming back, and we did the same thing. I said, I wanted to see what we could do when we lose a 6'10" and 3 6'5". We lost a lot of people, and we did it again. Then I wanted to see what we could do without Troy. And then we 2 years later, we won the county championship.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of like made people think that I may know what I'm doing a little bit.
How did it feel getting that first county championship?
Oh, it was great because it was against Montclair, and Montclair had Bob Lester as the coach.
Right. As the coach, right?
And Bob Lester was the coach that I lost to in high school. He was the coach at East Orange when I was at Orange, and we lost that one game. And Bob Lester's a great coach. So I was nervous. I had hives before the game because everyone says, oh, it doesn't make a difference. It comes down to coaching. He can't beat Bob Lester, and Montclair has more talent. So Montclair, they said they had the talent and they had the coaching. So we're not expected to win. Actually, those are the kind of games I like.
That's right.
I like being an underdog. And so we beat them, and we beat them, and it was like a monkey off my back, and because we were supposed to lose. We could have had Michael Jordan, and they would have said, "Well, they got Bob Lester."
They got Bob Lester, right?
Yeah, and he deserves all the accolades because he's a great coach.
No, absolutely not. That name just rings bells throughout Montclair, East Orange, the state of New Jersey, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Nah, absolutely. Then I know few years later, you get another county championship. Is that the one with you didn't get one with Marquise Braggs, did you? Did you get one with him?
No. Marquise, I think, got out in '88, and we won it in '89.
89. Okay, that's with Raymond Good and those guys, right?
Right, Raymond Good, Hassan Ellaby, Derek Bobbick, that team.
Yeah, that team. And I just remember just being in Orange Middle around that time here, like just to go to a Scott Orange game. It was like if I didn't get there about 2:30, sitting there waiting, I wasn't getting in.
Yeah.
I just remember those games here because my time was you guys going up against, you had the Mike Boys, Al Grants, John Robinsons, those guys. Yeah. Then I think a couple of them actually, I don't know, remember those TV3 days they had the games, with those games. So I definitely remember those times here. I know this coaching, and I know from Scott, you took some time off after you finished coaching at Scott, correct?
Yeah, 2 years. I think I didn't coach the '99 season.
Okay.
I might have been just 1 year. My mother was sick.
Okay.
So I took off, and what they wanted me to do was just come in and help and still be the head coach. And I said, that's not fair to my assistant, and I said,
right.
And he wanted me to come in at halftime and give talks. I said, no, they ain't got to listen to one voice, yours.
That's right.
I talk to you going into the locker room or coming out, but I can't talk to you in the locker room in front of the players. They need to hear you. Mm-hmm. So I took off that year because like my mother was sick, and then she ended up passing away in 2000, and then I went back to coaching.
Okay. Now, from when you went back, is it West Orange you went to, or
no? I went back to Scott.
You went back to Scott, okay.
Yeah, I stopped coaching at Scott in 2006.
Okay.
Well, actually, not at Scott. Scott closed in 2002. Mm-hmm. And then it went to East Orange campus, and I coached 4 years at the campus. 2006 was my last year in East Orange.
Mm-hmm. Now, to get that collection of talent, how was that when you got both East Orange schools together? How was that experience?
It wasn't what you would have thought. A lot of the, Scott is like this. That side of Park Avenue are mostly houses, suburban type side of town.
Right.
So a lot of parents end up transferring their kids. Mm-hmm. East Orange had a tougher kid on that side of town. They had a tougher kid. And so, I was happy with getting a tougher kid, but what I had going at Scott was good. I would have loved to just kept that. So it wasn't, you would think it would have been a powerhouse, but also we were a group 2 school.
Right.
At Scott. And then, you get used to winning, then you build confidence up. But when they merged the 2 schools, you was just thrown into a group 4 schedule from the door. Mm-hmm. And you had to be ready from day one instead of building up your confidence. So it like I said, I wish they would have just kept the 2 schools separate.
Yeah. Yeah, and to your point, like you said, they just gave you that schedule. They put you in the bigger conferences as far as the team. So now I get what you say. You had a nice thing going where you was at, like you said, you knew what you was getting, obviously the competition and everything else. Yeah. And again, I don't want to take too much of your time, and I appreciate the time that you give, man. This has been great. But I want to say thank you to you, and I'm going to just tell you why. A lot of things. One, not only just you taking an opportunity to sit here and talk with me, but just me growing up, being from Orange, I'm over in Dogtown, just growing up, but just playing sports. And I just saying particularly basketball. You mentioned Elwood earlier. I just remember those summer leagues in Elwood, just going out there, just one before I even got to high school, just watching. And I would just see you. I'll see, Harry Brown. I see Harry James, Charlie Brown, Mr. Moss, all you guys. Like, these got to be like the coolest people I know in the summertime. And I was just like, and I know they can hoop. And obviously just hearing the stories even back then about all you guys here. And I was just like, one day I'm going to get on this Elwood Hardwood, and then I know later on they moved it over to Central Playground across the street, right on Central Avenue. I know they moved it over there to summer leagues here. So I say all I have to say here, it was just always just great to be around all that. And again, those summer leagues like meant the world to me. And you talked about going to different parks, and granted there was officials that officiated those games, but it was just nothing like, is Mr. Moss, did he just see that? Did Coach Tynes see that? If you're not talking to somebody, did he just see what I just did? This little things, just kind of just seeing you guys just being out there like our heroes, just our heroes. And just it was a great time for me as far as just to be out and about. I mean, I know I wind up, going to Immaculate and playing ball, football, basketball, that up there. But to your point here, I'm an Orange boy, but I definitely just wanted to say thanks for what you've given me. And not only, and I didn't even mention it, you just being an educator as far as in education, your whole life and your whole career, things that you've given to thousands of students and countless basketball players, and not even on your team. And I'm one of those that's never even played for you, and I think it's just, it's been great. And like I said, I'm flattered and I'm honored, like I said, to even have you on this call. But I think just to see your rise, not only as a basketball player, but as a coach. And like I said, more importantly, as an educator and a great man, so I definitely, Coach Tynes, I really appreciate this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But I'm about to put you on the spot before I had a couple of questions.
Oh, no problem.
As far as your top 5, as far as basketball players ever in your time, whether it's coaching or playing in Essex County, your top 5.
My top 5 players, high school players in Essex County?
High school players. Let's not count even careers post-high school.
So it could be I coached or before me, all of that stuff.
That's right. Ever.
Okay. Well, the best I would have to say is Cleo Hill Sr.
That's okay.
He played at Shabazz. Cleo Hill Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Grimsley. Lou Grimsley is really good. Lou.
And that was Weekway. He was the head coach at Shabazz when he had those monsters down there, Avon, Ed Foster, Eric Williams, all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, that team that Mo Layton played on, I mean, they was the number 1 team in the country, but I didn't see them play. And that was in '66, and I was 10, and I was trying to get to an Orange game. My first Orange game was in '68 when Orange was number 1. So, I mean, one of them guys would have to be in there, but I never seen Cleo Hill play, but I seen film on him. So I saw how good he was in film. Mm-hmm. So let me go back. So I'm gonna say Cleo Hill, Lou Grimsley, Kelly Chapuka.
That's 3.
That's 3. I'm going to say Mo Layton because he did play in the NBA. I did see him in the NBA, so he played in Mo Layton.
Okay.
I have to say him, and probably a friend of mine who never gets the credit that they deserve, Edgar Jones.
Edgar Jones, I remember that name. Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned Mo Layton. My father went to Weekway during that time, so I heard that growing up. I heard about those teams growing up there. So yeah, now that's a solid 5. And you mentioned pedaling that bike throughout Essex County. Here, what was best park to play basketball at? Pickup.
The best park?
Growing up.
I'm biased. I'm gonna say the Friendship House / Elmwood Park.
That's all right.
I'm going with my Friendship House because a whole lot of guys from the projects came out of there. I'm gonna say the Friendship House / Elmwood Park. So I'm gonna give Elmwood its love, but I'm a Friendship House guy.
Friendship, and we just pedal your bike down Central Ave and make a couple of turns. You're at Elmwood, absolutely.
Yeah.
And my last one here might get you in trouble with some guys, but we are grown. We'll be okay. So say if you had, speaking to, let's just say Friendship Center, since you brought it up. New York Gauchos coming in the Friendship Center to play you. Who's your starting 5 as far as players that you coached? At what position? Who would you be your starting five to go up against the Gauchos if they came down to play you?
My all-time team?
Your all-time. Who would be your all-time starting five? So we go with the point.
At the point guard, before let me just pre-reference this. I think I had so many great point guards, and they never got the credit like some of my other players did. But I had some really good point guards over the years. Like just being Keith Roberts or Robert James, who still got an NCAA record, averaged 13 assists. But I would have to go with Ron Young my first year. He averaged 24 points a game. He was pretty much unstoppable. Ron Young Murph, my first year, would be at the point.
Okay.
At the two would be Troy Webster.
Okay.
Or I want to say at the wing. At one wing would be Troy Webster.
Would be Troy, okay.
At the other wing would probably be Derek Canada.
Okay.
At the four would be, at one box would be Marquise Bragg.
Okay.
And at the big man inside would be Mike Brown, Big Mike Brown.
So that squad, do y'all beat them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, if they were all high school players, and even though we lost with him, I would never bet against Troy Webster because I actually seen him take over a game. I seen him score 11 points in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and we won the state championship against sectional against Hillside. He scored 11 out of 13 points in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. After a timeout, where all I said was, "It's money time. You got to take the game over."
That's
and
right.
He took the game over. I mean, it wasn't that I set up a play. He just took the game over.
Hey, that's all you needed to say. I mean, and you think about these kids, these guys, and all of us. We know what that means. You know what that means, and then that person gonna step up because that's what he's supposed to do. And Troy Webster, like I said, is a legend, beyond legends too.
Yeah.
So, thank you. If you want to sneak a six man in, you feel free. If you felt you left someone off.
I left a lot of people off. But I would probably I would go with he's deceased now, the late Rob James at the point. I'm just
Rob James. Okay.
Being a guard, I just think you could I don't care what kind of bigs you got. If you don't have a point guard who can they got the keys to point guard. So if you don't have a good point guard, your big man is not going to get the ball in the right spot. So obviously, Rob James.
That's right. And then, like you said, you have too many other people to name. I just think even my little window of time. You mentioned Raymond Good. You mentioned you got Demetrius. You got Demetrius. You got even your other guards. I graduated. It was Mark Wallace. It was Mark Wallace. He was one. You had Andre Adams around that time too. Yeah,
the second Andre Adams.
The second Andre Adams, because we played we played in North Rand together. So
Keith Roberts,
Keith is tough.
Keith is real tough. Yeah, has some, and Mark Wallace is funny. I see Mark now. Mark, the only guy I know. Mark had 4 buzzer beaters. I never had a player have 4 buzzer beaters in 1 year. And Mark will bring that up. Mark will definitely bring that up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to keep that in his pocket and let you know.
Yeah, 4 buzzer beaters.
But Coach Tynes, again, can't say thank you enough. Like I said, you being officially you, honestly, you don't know, help me be officially me and everything else here. And I appreciate you just taking time out this evening to be with me and just have some conversation about good old Essex County and get a dose of some nostalgia here. So it's always great to talk this talk.
I appreciate you having me anytime. I mean, this is I like this. This is nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, just going to line up folks and just have some conversations here. And like I said, and it's interesting. You mentioned, like I told you earlier, you mentioned, Mr. Hill here. And like I said, I just had Cleon on, like I said, last week. So he probably, probably shed a tear. You hear that coming from you about his pops.
His pop was the GOAT.
Yeah,
He was the
absolutely.
GOAT.
Absolutely. And it's interesting. I know, and Cleon was like, even in the house, he was just like, he just wanted to be a father. He never really talked too much about his accolades or anything. He just wanted to be a father.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good stuff. But thanks, Mr. Tynes. And again, get that ankle better so you get around here, shoot some hoops here. And definitely I'll see you online. I'll just reach out just to say, hey, how you doing? But again, I appreciate it, Coach Tynes, a lot.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good one. You too.
All right, David. All right.
All right. Essex County talk. Yeah, Coach Tynes. Like I said, legend, beyond legends here, from playing to being a coach. Like I said, being an educator, what have you there. Most of all, he's from Orange, my neck of the woods here, that tornado. Even though I didn't get to wear the tornado jacket, I still bleed orange here. So again, that's what it is. Official thanks, Essex County All Day Edition. I put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. I know I got to work on that lotion game, though. We'll talk. All right.